Good morning, y'all. I filmed this video before the holidays, but is that too much? Maybe that's good. But a lot has happened since then, and I feel like we need a part 2, or rather a redo, because that procrastination done reached up and snatched me and got me, and I never posted it. So welcome, y'all. A very post Merry Christmas to all of you. Thank you for joining me. This is our Monday sermon, and today's episode is Pavlovs positivity, or bitch slap to success, y'all. Okay? Now, why are we talking about this today? Well, because there are a lot of things that have happened in the last week or so, and even before that, but specifically there have been a lot of developments in literally the last few days. And you know what? JFK might have me by the kahunas here. I don't know, but we got holiday Christmas gifts of fancy pants microphones to film. So we're simultaneously filming and testing out new tech. So if Le JFK is still interfering too much, then forgive me. But anyways, back to Pavlov's positivity. There have been a lot of things going on recently, and if you have not watched Nick Shirley's expose on fraud in Minnesota, I highly recommend it. I will link the video in the description here, but please go check that out. And I really sincerely hope that we can turn a corner here, and it aligns with my sermon today, which is all about the reality that you can't. And so I'm just so discombobulated this morning, y'all. But anyways, so why I wanted to do this video specifically is because a lot of what I want to try and do is offer solutions, not just lectures, right? Because you have to offer a path forward. Like, you can't just critique people and not offer a way to improve, or a roadmap to success, rather. And the best that I can do is look at what I have been able to do for myself and try and pass that along, right? Which really is very much what all of this is about, okay? So, for those of you who don't know, there was a behavioral science, and I guess technically it falls under psychology, right? Like, you learn about Pavlov in psychology, right? And forgive me, I don't know Mr. Pavlov's first name. He's got such a memorable last name, and everybody just knows about him and his dog, right? But what I started doing to try and overcome my own tendencies towards frankly, laziness and procrastination and to also counteract my own past habits of falling into pits of despair and depression, is to metaphorically snap that rubber band in and create and build new habits for myself that set me up for success in the long term, right? And being the superficial queen that I am, a lot of it hinges around my desire to build habits that put me at a place where I am superficially successful, okay? So, my major accomplishment in this aim is training myself to do things like push-ups or, little body weight exercises whenever I have negative thoughts about myself. And we've expanded past that, right? But I'll get into that. So the very first thing that I started doing was anytime I recognized that I was having critical thoughts about myself and my appearance, I started doing push-ups. And I started doing push-ups probably at least a year ago. It's probably been closer to 2 years now, because push-ups are a phenomenal way to work on your whole body, right? And as a woman, push-ups are notoriously difficult to do naturally. And so I wanted to, being the competitive hoe that I am, I wanted to cultivate that skill, not just for, the shoulders and biceps that it imparts upon one, but also just purely for the novelty of being able to say that I could at least do, at the bare minimum, 10 push-ups in a row. So I slowly worked up to that, and then I came upon the brilliant idea, if I do say so myself, of translating that into some Pavlovian personal training, okay? So anytime I have negative thoughts about what I look like, or, the stereotypical, darling, do these pants make my ass look fat, right? I do push-ups, and I've now proudly escalated from just 10 push-ups to 15 in a set. We're working towards 20, but on a good day I can do 20, but I aim to do at least 15 anytime I catch myself having negative critical thoughts about myself, specifically when it regards to, physical appearance. So that was the beginning. Now I have caught myself doing my set of 15 push-ups anytime I get particularly incensed by whatever socio-political, cultural nonsense appears on my plate at any given time, right? Because I think that's something that a lot of us, regardless of whether you're, a man or a young woman, there's a lot of disturbing and disheartening things that are being brought to light in our current timeline. And I have found that to counteract the despondency that this tends to ignite within me, the solution is to do the exact same thing that I do when I feel depressed and critical about my physical self, is to do some push-ups, right? Do some push-ups. I vary my style of push-ups now because we're also working on the chicken wingy part, okay? We can't get flabby triceps here. So sometimes I do tricep dips instead of push-ups. And sometimes I do squats instead of push-ups because we have a 30-pound free weight that roams around the house. And I also have those beautiful, leg weight wrap things that you can hold on your arms instead of just putting on your legs. But I have found that when I get too hulked out about the current state of our situation collectively, that it behooves me to let off a little steam in a productive way, all right? So I highly recommend this. It's been very successful. I find myself feeling less, well, to be perfectly honest, I can't say that it has really lessened the ever-present cloud of anxiety that's lowered itself over us as a nation, or even globally, actually, because I think this is we've become such a global, interconnected species that it's really so much more universal than it ever has been, right? Thank you, Internet. But I think that at the very least, what you can do is focus that rage and avoid despondency by Pavlovianly training yourself to do little things that benefit you and get you to a better place, right? Because we all know that doing physical activity sparks endorphins, right? And we all need to find more healthy ways of sparking those endorphins than doom scrolling, right? Because clearly that's not doing marvelous things for our collective psyche, okay? And beyond that, what I have found is that the more you do this, the easier it is to take those same principles and concepts and apply it in other directions, right? Like how once you've trained yourself to build these new habits and build these new routines to counteract all of these things, you can do that in other ways. You can do it in other directions. And really, right now, what I think the most important thing for us to do is to recognize that it's up to us. It is the corruption and the disgusting plundering of our nation as bad as it is? Yes, as unfortunately, as a matter of fact, darlings, I think it's exponentially worse even than we're finding out now. And so I've continuously told people, buckle up, it's only going to get worse. And the best thing that you can do is wake up and decide that despite how terrible it may seem, you make the best possible choices that you can every day for yourself, and then let that expand outward, right? So choose to be the change, right? I feel like that was some kind of presidential, political catchphrase at some point, right? Which, I mean, frankly, fuck all of them, darlings. Every last one of them. I don't care which political party you are a part of. If you are in government right now, you are part and parcel of this problem. And frankly, you deserve every last bit of karmatic retribution that finds itself back to you, because you have decimated our nation to a point of just unprecedented levels of pillaging, plundering, and personal gain. It's disgusting. It makes me so completely and utterly incensed that I could spit nails. Frankly, I feel like I want to do even more, okay? Because it is disgusting. They are, in fact, completely complacent in the pillaging of the American people's future. And every last one of you that is part and parcel of this, my God, whatever we can do to remove you and pry your parasitic posterior out of this swamp, I am for, frankly, every single one of you. And so get out, vote, and vote in your local elections, and get every last one of these disgusting succubi out of our government, okay? Get them out, because they are stealing your future from you, all right? So anyways, let me get past my little political rant here and back to bitch slap to success, okay? Because that's part of it as well. I think that an enormous part of how we have gotten here and why we find ourselves so disgusted and disappointed with the state of our government and our nation is because we have lost we have disconnected ourselves from the reality that sometimes a hoe just needs to be slapped, okay? Sometimes you just don't learn until you get hit, all right? Sometimes you gotta touch that hot stove and get burned in order to learn not to do it again. And we need that level of accountability across all levels, because that is the only way we are going to retake our nation and reestablish a future for ourselves and our descendants, okay? So we need to reconnect and remind ourselves that no, you don't get to come up with whatever half-assed cockamamie excuse about how, oh, you weren't given opportunities, or oh, your childhood was just too traumatic and that's why you get a pass for behaving in ways that are socially unacceptable, okay? And I'm done. I am over it. We're past it. And babies, I am wholeheartedly behind bitch slapping every single one of these disgusting reprobates who are contributing to the downfall of our society, okay? I don't care if it's one of I mean, we're at the point where, I mean, I regularly just want to pop out an N-word, okay? And that's a whole nother conversation, because I think we ought to reappropriate the ability to use the N-word in the traditional context of someone, regardless of race, skin tone, creed, or culture, that is a degenerate blight upon society, which is what the N-word originally meant. It had nothing to do with race. It had everything to do with whether or not you were a trashy, like, parasitic slob that took advantage of society, okay? But I'm so over these people who commit crimes and get away with it because some fat, slobby white woman has been guilted into thinking that they're allowed to act out and kill people and stab people and rob people and make it so that I have to go to CVS and wait for 15 minutes for someone to come and unlock the Burt's Bees chapstick, okay? No, I live in the United States of fricky frackin' America, all right? I shouldn't have to wait for someone to come over and unlock the chapstick. This is ridiculous. I've had enough, all right? Y'all deserve every kind of slap that can be delivered in order to keep this from happening anymore, all right? Because some of y'all clearly don't learn, and Pavlov is not teaching you until you get got. Okay? And it's enough. It is enough. Now, I don't believe that you need to be shock collaring your dog, okay? But some of y'all degenerates have been allowed too much daggone leeway, and that's how we are where we are. It's why we have an entire segment of young men who have been disenfranchised to the point where they think that women should not be allowed to vote. And frankly, young women, I see some of y'all, and not even just young women, some of you are too damn old to be showing your ass and acting a fool this way, all right? It's embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing, and I don't even want to be associated with you anymore, because I can understand why young men think you ought not to have the right to vote. Because, dadgummit, stop making us look bad. And you know what? Maybe that's the secret. I agree with Asmongold. Maybe the secret is that we need to have some kind of voter registration test not only do you need to show an ID to prove that you are a citizen, which the fact that this is even a conversation is repulsive to me. Like, how racist are you that you think certain people don't have access to an ID? Like, you can't, like, I mean, what kind of bunch of racists. That's the other thing, is that 9 times out of 10, those of y'all out here in the streets yelping about racism are the racists. Ugh, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, y'all. And we're bringing back some bitch slapping to these degenerates so that we can have a country again, because I don't want to have to go ask for a key to get my Burt's Bees, okay? I'm done. And I'm done. I am absolutely done with some of you, all right? And if you can't pull your head out of your ass long enough to suck some fresh air out of above the TDS cloud that y'all continue to live in, despite insurmountable evidence that we are in a crisis that is perpetuated by those disgusting, just disgusting reprobates who are refusing to do anything in Congress, the Senate, state legislature. I mean, every last one of them is just, you're letting them take your future away from you. You are letting them steal from you without providing a service or anything. Okay? It's enough. Wake up, grow the frickety frack up, and smell the gosh darn roses, okay? Actually, don't smell the roses, it's napalm, you motherfuckers, okay? I mean, holy shit. 22 minutes in, and I feel like I'm just screaming into the void here, okay? But your girl is done. I am done. I'm over it. I've had enough of y'all thinking that just because you, I don't know. I don't even know. And I'm not even stoned right now, okay? We are absolutely stone cold sober. And I'm so incensed that I just am having a hard time forming coherent thoughts and conversations. I mean, look at this, okay? This is just part and parcel of what we're going to be seeing here. And holy shiznits, buckle up and kiss your butt goodbye, New York, because this little Parks and Rec van is so retarded that they stopped in front of a crosswalk even though there's no pedestrians, okay? There's no stop sign. It just says stop here if there are pedestrians. There's no pedestrians. Do you know how else I know it's completely and utterly retarded? They put the bump that's supposed to slow you down for the pedestrian crosswalk after the damn crosswalk. Bunch of DEI'd filler ficus plants, just succubus. They're just, we pay tax dollars for this shit. You know, any one of you that has a job that's paying taxes ought to be absolutely just incensed and infuriated by everything that we're seeing right now. And yet half of you can't pull your head out of your ass long enough to recognize that those that are screeching at you about Nazis and Hitler and fascism are in fact the ones subjugating you and telling you this so that you continue to keep your head up your ass so they can get away with stealing more of your money. But sure, it's those of us trying to explain it to you that are the problem. My God. Well, this is probably enough. I guess I'll end up tacking all 3 of the videos that I've made on this subject together. And if you make it this far, Hopefully I've been coherent. I've tried. I've done my best. I've let a week pass between my previous 2 videos about this subject. Christmas has happened, and I had a wonderful time with my family. I really did. I'm so fortunate and blessed, and I hope every single one of you that I am fortunate to know experienced just as lovely and beautiful a holiday as I did. But wake up, y'all. Wake up, because it's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us to change this. All right? And they're only going to do it if enough of us rise up and force them to. And I'm not talking about this play acting, no kings protest bullshit version of change, okay? I'm talking about real, actionable, go out and pick someone who is going to deliver on what needs to be done to make sure that we actually have a country, okay? Because I've had enough. I have had enough. But all right, it's enough of me ranting and raving, and hopefully our Christmas present of microphone worked out well, despite all of the midday traffic and planes flying overhead. But anyways, stay classy, not trashy, y'all, and go out and Pavlov yourself to success, okay? Bitch slap to success, y'all, all right? Bitch slap to success. Pavlov's positivity. We can do it. We can do it. You can make the change with yourself. You can become a hottie. You can become a classy person who has self-respect, and then that self-respect can then bleed into the rest of your life and create a better, more beautiful country and community than we have right now, all right? And stop being delusional about how great it is, because it's great on the surface, but we are deteriorating quick, all right? So you either grab hold of your bootstraps, put on your big girl panties, and make a difference, or you keep laying there like a bump on a log and let it happen, and then you really ain't gonna have shit, okay? So, on that note, have a good one, y'all. This is your bi-weekly report coming to you live from, I don't know what we're going to call this show, but we're going to workshop it. If you have an idea for what we can call this, you let me know. But anyways, hopefully this made sense. If it didn't, whatever, it's my video. I can talk about what I want. And if you don't like it, leave. If you do like it, hang out. I'll be here next week. Have a good one, y'all. Stay classy, not trashy.